our problems are so easy to fix. You could go into any coffee shop in America and you could grab, just the 5 people who are paying attention out of everybody. Mm-hmm. There are 5 people here who can name the president and the 3 branches of government. Can you come on over to my table? We would be able to fix this. If we were put in charge, you'd be able to fix this. A lot of this stuff is so common sense.
That's interesting, because I think if applied, common sense would solve a lot of these problems.
Yes.
But think about that in the real world, in this world that we live in right now.
You can't.
How? I mean, even if you convinced the medical establishment, which I think is a real goal here, and I think it is something that is potentially achievable. The medical establishment, look, what you guys have done over the past 15 years with all this gender stuff and all this is bad. We're seeing it happen in foreign countries, right? Yeah. They're reversing the path.
France, Sweden,
the UK. We're seeing progress in that in that world to get back to some sort of rational view here. But even if you were to accomplish that, there are so many people with so many goals that are at odds with that approach that they wouldn't. You think the mainstream media is going to abandon this because the medical establishment changes? I doubt it. You think about all the sites and bloggers and influencers and all the people that people actually get their news from that would continue down this road anyway and would still create people like the person who seems to be in this case today, what we know of them.
But those
and
people
many other examples
existed before. Yeah. They just didn't have positions of power. So the first thing that has to be done is you fire a lot of people. I'm sorry. Here's the problem. Common sense should always rule, with rare exception. There are times that you're like, okay, I know that makes sense. However, this time, cut the white wire. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. No, it should be the green wire. No. I know, usually red and green, but this time, don't cut the green wire. But the problem is, everything is so over Ivy Leagued that the average person goes, well, I don't know the answer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because they'll be like, well, have you thought about right. You're like, what?
Well, we saw this with the Claudine Gay situation this week,
yes.
right? Like everybody knows when you steal every other people's work, you're going to get fired as an academic. And yet every institution went to bat for this woman to explain why what she did was not actually bad and it was actually racism, and you guys don't understand the systemic racism that pushed her to have to do this, and why we should ignore. And it's like, and everyone's just like, all right, I just don't even want to get involved in that.
So there's no, the deal is, and most people will back away from it because they'll feel stupid. They'll be like, I don't know. I mean, who am I to argue against?
Right. A lot of people will
Harvard.
Do that.
They'll do it.
Fewer and fewer, though. I think that I do think that's going
because
away.
We used to have, there's balance in all things. Balance in all things. There's supposed to be push and pull. If you don't have that, there is no growth. So what happened is we had common sense, and then common sense was looked down upon from the Ivy League on, isn't that cute? Isn't that common sense? Well, I have uncommon knowledge. And everybody was like, well, he must know something that I don't know. No, really, the only thing that you may know that he doesn't know is humility. And the one thing that he may know that you don't know is arrogance. I know. My people, you need to be taken care of.
Are you concerned that the balance is not something we're finding right now?
No, because I think it's coming.
Is it coming, or is it closer to something you've talked about for a long time of more of a pendulum effect? Because I am worried that it does seem at times that we're getting to a place where we're completely ignoring experts. I mean, I don't think that's the answer either, right?
No, it's not.
It's not like,
It's
hey,
not, but
people have been
until
studying this for
the
a while.
experts
Right.
are held by other experts, until the medical community says, you know what, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
This COVID thing, it was good here, here, and here. It was really bad here, here, and here.
Sure.
And we got to stop, just saying that, oh, no, now science knows, because that's happened throughout all of mankind. And then science learns, and they're like, oh, well, now we know. Soon as it's cleaned out by its own people, God will clean out his own house first. That's in Isaiah. I will clean out mine own house first. And he will. And that's what needs to happen in all of the institutions. In media, it's got to be cleaned up. Now, it's going to probably take outsiders to do it, or a new generation, but it's already happening. It's already happening. It's just that there's so much money involved at the establishment level, and they're just holding on by their fingernails. And they'll pull all of us down to stop from drowning themselves.
Are you optimistic about the path here? Are you optimistic that the pushback that has come from, I think, common sense, I would argue, that usually equals a lot of conservative type values, but there has been a pushback in the media. There has been a pushback in, when it comes to our institutions from more constitutional common sense type thinking. Will that result in something that is positive at the end? Are you comfortable with the path?
We are at the wire. We are coming around the fourth turn, and we're all dead even as we're coming towards the wire. Who's going to win? And it will be won by a nose. And I think it's going to happen this year. But what is encouraging is we're seeing things that we haven't seen before. I think we are at peak wokeness. I've been talking about that pendulum theory that Stu has been saying. I've been saying for a while. 2020, what did I say? 2024, 2025 is where we hit the peak, and then it starts going the opposite way. I've said that for forever. Now, this means it's going to take just as long as it did to get here. But we will, the dog returns to its vomit. We will go back to being a very selfish, me, forget the collective culture. It's going to take us 40 years, but we will get right back to where we were. The key is, don't destroy yourself at any of the peaks, because it's the middle where we really flourish. It's the balance of, no, the individual is important, but so is the collective. We have to balance that. Right now, we're just not balancing. The individual doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter. But I see this coming back from really important people. I think Elon Musk has been a turning point in that. I mean, you look at what Bill Ackman said this week, or Mark Cuban. What a difference. What a difference.
The Mark Cuban thing was we should go through that. That was bizarre. I don't even seem like he doesn't even know what the words mean.
He doesn't.
It's weird.
Again, it is the arrogance of people thinking they know. That's what Bill Ackman said. He said, I went to talk to the students and I realized that what I thought they were saying is not what they're saying. I didn't understand it. Mark Cuban just hasn't gone through that, but he will, because it's happening. It is happening. But keep running flat out, because it's going to be won by a nose.